What's up, party people, and what's up, mom? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am a full-time reseller and my name is Jen and I sell on eBay and Poshmark. In today's video, I have a brand new series that I'm hoping will help you guys. So I've been in the reselling game, if you will. It'll be 3 years in September. 3 years in September. That's crazy. And I used a bunch of YouTube videos to help me kind of start my journey. I actually also have a friend who's going to be starting her reseller journey. So I wanted to do this series to hopefully help new resellers. And yeah, so this one's 10 questions you should ask yourself. Before you start reselling. I do have a piece of paper here with my questions and my notes so I don't babble on too long or forget something. Anyways, question number 1, you need to know your why. Why are you doing this? Is it because you are now a stay-at-home mom? Are you a college student that wants to just make extra money on the side? Are you getting laid off? Those kind of things. Are you trying to pay off debt? You have to establish what your why is. So when things get tough, which they will, you just have to remember your why. So that's important. Write it down so you can see it every day when you're reselling, when you're doing this, when you're spending all the time at the bins, when you're digging and you go home with nothing. Just remember why you're doing this. All right. Next question. Are you going to go full-time or part-time? That's a question. I would recommend starting off part-time. That's what I did. I did it nights and weekends. I had a corporate job. I just spent my time at night going out thrifting, weekends, yard sales sometimes, listing, those kind of things. When you want to go full-time, that's a whole nother video. But of course, you want to start part-time. Make sure that you even like what you're doing. Where do you start is the next question. Where should I start? I say start with the stuff that's in your house. Sell your own crap. Don't go out and retail arbitrage. Don't go out to the thrift store and start buying stuff. Start with the stuff that you have. If you are doing clothing, list your own clothes. If you're doing electronics, list your own stuff. Go upstairs in the attic and pull down some stuff. We all have kitchen gadgets that we don't use. List your own stuff first. That's what I recommend doing. I didn't technically do that, but do as I say, not as I do. Next question. What's my niche? Okay, so like I just said, do you want to do clothes? You can do your own clothing, start with your own clothing. Electronics, start with your own electronics. There's so many different niches. There's games, there's toys, there's cell phones, there's just everything under the sun. You need to figure out what your niche is, what you're good at, what interests you the most, and start there. That's my opinion anyway. And I think it's important because then you'll kind of like what you're doing anyways. Next, which platforms do you want to sell on? If you're doing clothing, Poshmark's a really good one. I recommend Poshmark for clothing. There's also eBay for everything under the sun. You can also do Amazon, which is a whole nother beast that I haven't even gotten into, so I won't be talking about Amazon. There's Mercari. There's even the local market. Like if you want to flip big stuff like furniture or even electronics or anything, really. Like my friends Bargain Barons, they buy and sell locally in Canada. I'll leave them down below. Miss you guys. Anyways, next. Oh, there's also Tradesy, Etsy, those kind of things. If you're doing like DIY stuff like jewelry or vintage is really cool for Etsy as well. Next up, resellers to watch on YouTube to build knowledge. Like I said, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. I worked at home, So I had dual monitors. I had one for what I was doing. The second one was playing YouTube videos over and over and over and over and over and over. It was roadkill, ultimately. Like, it was too much information, so it came in one ear, out the other. Some stuff stuck in my head, obviously, but a lot of it was just noise because I was also working. But you need to figure out what your niche is. So, for me, I started watching, the very, very, very beginning was Mom the eBayer. And if you know her, she's who I started watching very first. She was doing the dumpster diving. What made me want to do dumpster diving, which actually made me buy this chick in the first place, my hanging mannequin. I actually bought that before I even started reselling. I bought that in like 2013. But there's also like Rally Roots. They do a bunch of wholesale, which is kind of confusing if you're a newbie. If you want to do clothing, I reckon, there's big people out there in clothing. There's Jenna Empty Hanger, Nicole State, the list goes on and on. There's so many people in the clothing reseller world that you shouldn't have a problem. When I decided to, hold on, I was going to go off on a tangent. I'm not going to do that. Shoes, there's Renzy Now, RNZY Now on Instagram. Follow them. Also Glenn at Hustle Hacks, Hustle Bee. You'll figure it out. And if you want to do Amazon FBA, I started watching Side Hustle Pros, but they're Side Hustle Network now. Chaz and Trista, they're very knowledgeable. There's a bunch of YouTubers. It just depends on what your niche is. So you'll just have to kind of figure that out yourself and take a lot of the stuff with a grain of salt, including my own stuff, just because we're not professionals. Like, I am trying to help you, but I don't claim that I know everything. But I've had 3 years worth of experience and I'm still learning. So there's that. Next up, how much can I invest? That's a question that you need to ask yourself. Do you want to have an upfront investment? Or do you just want to start with what's around your house? Again, I recommend that. However, when I started, I'm just going to be completely honest. I started with $1,600 as investment because I thought I needed perfect lights. I thought I needed a great background. I thought I needed XYZ PDQ. Do you guys know what that means? I don't know why I said that. Anyways, I thought I needed everything under the sun. I do have a video on what I bought to start my eBay business. I just recently watched that and started laughing. Like, oh my gosh, I was so overboard. But, what was the question? How much can I invest? That's completely up to you. I would say start off with the stuff that's around your house so you don't have to invest anything, but that's personal preference. You decide what is good for you, a boo-boo. Okay, and next question is, how much do I need to make this make sense, to make reselling make sense? Especially if you decide to go full-time, you need to figure that out. You need to figure out monthly bills, because there are monthly bills. If you have an ePay subscription like I do, that's $60. Okay, I also use List Perfectly as a cross-post platform. That's $30. Then you'll have to give yourself like a reselling budget. That's X amount. Are you going to pay yourself? That's X amount. And that's the bottom dollar, what you have to make to survive, really, at a reselling business. So it is really tough and it is really stressful. No lying about that. You know, you also have to put away a certain amount for taxes. You also have to, I don't know. It's a lot. Finances are a lot. You need to figure that out to make it worthwhile for you. Next up, do I need a fancy camera/photo setup? So I briefly talked about this. For me, I was using daylight for maybe a month. And then it was October and it started getting dark earlier and I was only doing it part-time. So I decided to invest in lights. The lights that I have are the Limo Studio lights. I got them off of Amazon. I believe they were like $60 at the time. I'll link those down below if you're interested. I think everyone knows what the Limo Studio lights are. But you don't need fancy lighting. eBay and Cassini, which is Google, likes white backgrounds for Google search. I have a gray background. I take a picture on this wall, but I do also have, I got these 2 white poster boards from Walmart for like $2 total. And I use these like this for flat lays, shoes and stuff like that. Just because I don't have anything else to put shoes. Like my carpet in here is an ugly green color. I'm not going to throw them on the floor. And $2 investment, come on. But if you have hardwood floors at home, throw them on the floor. Great lighting. Perfect. Take your camera phone, and just take a picture with that. That's what I do. I do all of my videos, all of my picture taking with my iPhone XR now. But before this, I had an iPhone 7. So iPhones have great cameras. You do not need to invest in anything crazy. You really just have to start. List one thing. And when it sells, you're going to be like, what? All right, next question. How many items can I store in my home? That is important. So for me, right now I have a 5-bedroom house, but it's not just me. It's me and my family. There's my boyfriend, the 2 kids. I have a dog. I use the downstairs 2 bedrooms right now. This room and the room right behind you. This room is where I obviously do my pictures, but right behind you, I have my computer desk where I do all of my sharing. I also have my printer over here for shipping. I have my rack, clothes rack here so I can hang up stuff and then just take them off the rack, put them here. And in that room, it's storage, like my inventory room, which we'll get to that in another video in this series. But I have a lot of room. That's all I'm trying to say, is I have a lot of room. But there are people, like I just watched Alex, what is the Queen of Thrift. I just watched her new video. She's in a 1-bedroom apartment. So she got overwhelmed with stuff everywhere. So she had to get a storage unit, which is another cost. So you gotta think about that as well. Right now I have under 600 active listings. I could go up, I could probably double that, to be honest, with the amount of storage that I do have. Might even be able to triple it if, I also have a garage. But anyway, that's important. You don't want to like drown yourself in inventory when you do start thrifting to where you have clothing on your dinner table or something like that. You know what I mean. All right. Oh, that was it. That was the 10 questions. If you do have more questions of how to start your business or anything like that, please leave them down below. I am going to do a series. The next step, I believe, is going to be photographing. Don't quote me on that. I need to write everything down as I am a list person. But I'm hoping to do at least one of these a week, maybe 2. We shall see. And I hope they're very helpful. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We'll see you in the next video. But don't forget to stay weird.